Yeah, that's the best kind.
Hey, Mr. Gopher.
Yeah, what is it, Butterfly?
We gotta go, man. We don't want to be late.
Late for what?
Didn't you hear? Steve finally got his 300 subscribers, so we're having a big party.
Oh, does that mean he'll stop whining?
No, he'll find something else to whine about. But come on, let's go to the party. Oh,
You're choking me.
let's go.
They're all on. I got a letter from the government the other day. Opened up and read it and said they were suckers. Snoop Dogg wine, okay. Chris Shizzle. Hello, greetings, and welcome. Welcome to the Stereo 999 YouTube channel. I'm your host.
A big, fat, stupid, old, dumb nincompoop.
Steve, you know what this is, don't you? It's a time-space warp.
Hello, greetings, and welcome. Welcome to the Stereo 999 YouTube channel. I am your host, the artist formerly known as Stereo Steve. And once again, I'm kicking it here in my dungeon with my good pal, Mr. Gopher. Say hi, Mr. Gopher.
Hey, Mr. Gopher. Hi, Mr. Gopher.
Yeah, we've been just chilling here, celebrating a little bit, because I finally got my 200 subscribers. Looks like I've reached my goal of 300 subscribers. And it took a while. It was like months where it was just hanging, teetering around like 297 or something. And now it's like 302, 303 now. I mean, like I said, I don't have the 50,000 subscribers like some of the reactionaries, but for just being a weirdo who's in my own little world as far as music is concerned, I appreciate I got 300, and I said I was going to have a party, so I guess this is the party. I don't know what kind of party it's going to be. Maybe it'll be a clip show. But anyway, so I don't know. I said I was going to do something special, and I'm not sure exactly what it's going to be. But we're going to get into it. We're going to just... Here we are. A good swill. But where's that music coming from? This next one in the stack is an all-time classic, Psychotic Reaction by the Count 5. And yeah, this is Another one of them sketchy labels, a Karma. This is a Karma reissue of this, probably from like the 2000s. I think it's got a couple of bonus tracks, but great band. I mean, besides Psychotic Reaction, you know, Pretty Big Mouth and Double Decker Bus, Peace of Mind, there's some good songs. And, you know, this inspired Lester Bangs to write one of his most hilarious screeds. Allman Brothers, Eat a Peach. I love this inside cover. This is very psychedelic. But yeah, Eat a Peach, classic Allman Brothers album, dedicated to a brother. But here's the thing. There's a track called Mountain Jam. And on the original album, it's split up into two halves because the entire Mountain Jam is almost 40 minutes long. So if you look on this sheet, side 2 is Mountain Jam, and then side 4 is Mountain Jam Continued. So they split Mountain Jam in half across two sides of this double album. Now I also have Eat a Peach on CD because the CD version of Eat a Peach has the entire 33-minute long Mountain Jam smack dab in the middle of the album and ends with Little Martha, which would be the end of side 3. So they stitched Mountain Jam back together, and it's uninterrupted on the CD version of Allman Brothers' Eat a Peach. These are his drawings on these albums. But anyway, this is Wesley Willis' Greatest Hits, Volume 1. And there's a song on here called I Whooped Batman's Ass. And, you know, a lot of people think that those songs that have characters are just a metaphor for his schizophrenia. But I think he really did meet Batman, and Batman pissed him off, and he gave Batman a piece of his mind. And so I'm thinking, I should talk about this record. I should talk about this record because if you've seen Supreme Psychedelic Underground by the Hell Preachers Incorporated, which was released on the German Europa label. And the thing about this record was, among record collector circles, there had been a rumor that Richie Blackmore plays on this thing, which turned out to be debunked. The evidence for the rumor is that the song that opens and closes this album, Time Race 1 and Time Race 2, is kind of a ripoff of Ring That Neck by Deep Purple. And, you know, if you've been watching my videos for a while, and when I'm filming sitting on the couch, you see this record in a frame in the background. But there's some really interesting, really odd stuff on this record, especially the song Spy in Space, which has to be heard to be believed. But yeah, Hell Preachers. So yeah, actually a bunch of German cats, not Richie Blackmore. This is one I got the reissue of this. I was hoping to find like a random copy in the wild, and I came close, but no cigar. But I'm glad I picked up this reissue on the Sunbeam label. This is Checkered by Chubby Checker, which was Chubby Checker's psychedelic album that he made like I don't know, when did he make this? Sometime in the early 70s. But yeah, there's some great songs on this. Goodbye Victoria, If the Sun Stops Shining. But yeah, we just got through here in the Bay Area in SF. We just got through some seriously hot weather, like 90-degree days, 100-degree days. Lots of hydration going on, and we had the big festival in Golden Gate Park, the Hardly Strictly Bluegrass. I look forward to that every year, and I was super stoked to see the Big Star Quintet performing songs off of Radio City. This is like one of my favorite albums. And it's interesting how a favorite album can bring you back to a time that's not necessarily the time when the album actually emerged. For instance, Big Star Radio City was released in 1974. And for me, it's a record that takes me back to 1987, because 1987 is when I bought my copy of that. It was around the time when I think Big Beat Records reissued it. Pebbles compilations. I think there was about 30 of these, and then they branched out into some other series like the Highs in the Mid-60s and stuff. But kind of the beginning of that was the later Pebbles, like past Volume 12. They started focusing on different areas. And this is Pebbles Volume 15, The Continent Lashes Back the Netherlands. And this has like the Q65 and the Outsiders, Group 1850, a lot of those amazing Dutch bands. It's got The Doting King by The Dream. And that's a single that's not on their album, Get Dreamy. But The Dream had jazz fusion guitarist Terry Ripdahl was in The Dream. And that is a really trippy track. But here, if you can read these. Okay. And I'm going to close it off with the all-time classic, with the record that most people start with, and that is Nuggets, original artifacts from the first psychedelic album. Nuggets, original artifacts from the first psychedelic era, 1965 to 1968. Compiled by Lenny Kaye, the guitarist. And there was an interview with him in Ugly Things where he clarified that the first psychedelic era were these bands that were putting out singles and short songs. And the second psychedelic era was later in the 60s, bands like The Dead and Quicksilver doing long jams. But if you had the Nuggets compilation back then, you had this late 70s reissue on Sire. You didn't have the 1972 original version on Elektra, because that was damn near impossible to find. But yeah, of course I'm making generalizations here, but yeah. This is pretty much your 60s garage rock starter kit. Electric Prunes, Standells, The Strange Ones, 13th Floor Elevators, The Seeds, Chocolate Watch Band, King Crimson, Court of the Crimson King. At first I was all, but then I was like, this is the same copy that I bought in high school that I took care of all these years even down to peeling the hype sticker that said King Crimson off the shrink wrap and sticking it here. Yeah. The guitarist from Blues Project, and none other than Sun Ra on the organ on this record. All right, another obsession that annoyed the hell out of my friends was Mr. Frank Zappa. They made him reverse this. That's Jimmy Carl Black. That's not Frank. That's Frank there. And this cover, they reversed it, but it was a parody of the #1 album in the book, Sgt. Pepper, Mothers of Invention. We're only in it for the money. And yeah, a rock opera about how cops beating up and killing hippies eventually led to the hippies being put in Kafkaesque concentration camps, told mostly in Alvin Chipmunk voices. It's a masterpiece. Okay. This one, I'd never heard of this band, got really high ratings. Again, another one that's nowadays recognized in the canon as a classic. Forever Changes by Love. This picture on the back with Arthur and the broken vase. And yeah, so I picked up this record, and here's the thing is, I didn't get it the first time I listened to it. I'm like, this is violins and they're singing about snot, and I was expecting a total psychedelic brain melter. I wasn't ready for the subtlety of this album, and I didn't get it the first time I heard it. But a couple of songs stuck in my head, and what finally made me a fan was this compilation, Love Revisited, which shows the evolution of the band from Little Red Book up until Forever Changes and For Sale, all the, you know, the Electra years. Liner notes by Ellen Willis, who's like one of the contributors to the book. But yeah, this compilation, suddenly the whole evolution of the band made sense to me. And turns out the psychedelic brain melter that I was looking for was the album For Sale, the first album with the second lineup of the band.
Steve, you know what this is, don't you?
I'm just gonna drink some more of this radioactive coffee. This is another one of my primordial childhood records. My dad gave me this when I was 5, and it kind of warped my whole mind and steered me towards psych music. This is Sandy Nelson. Sandy Nelson was a drummer. A lot of his early records are kind of like, Richie Cunningham meets surf music, but with experimental pieces occasionally. The crack team of uncredited studio musicians do some nice instrumental fuzzy versions of songs such as Happenings 10 Years Time Ago, You Got Me Hummin', Mustang Sally, Winchester Cathedral, and Pandora's Golden Heebie-Jeebies, Mysterians, I Need Somebody, Please Don't Ever Leave Me by The Circle. And it's just a really nice kind of 60s vibe. And this is a mono copy, like I used to have back then. And this is the stereo copy. Los Grandes Éxitos de Chicago, with all the song titles. Not only does it have all the song titles in Spanish, but it has the long versions of the songs from the albums. It doesn't have the short single versions of the songs like the regular album does. But real quick, if I was voting in the poll, I would pick different Chicago records. I would pick the debut when they were still called Chicago Transit Authority. The second album, which has 25 or 64 and Color My World, and also has some epic long jams on it, and Chicago 7 with the embossed cover. This was the last album where they had long extended jams, and it's a masterpiece. It's kind of their last burst of greatness before they kind of devolved into a lounge act. Sky Sunlight Saxon, of course, Sky Saxon of the Seeds, and the Universal Stars Peace Band, Masters of Psychedelia. And yeah, this is some grungy, raunchy rock, some good riffs, and just Sky Saxon just kind of going off. I think Sailboat Ride was the song I used to play on my radio show all the time. Music is a Vanishing World, Star Spangled Girl. Yeah. This is cool. It's on the New Rose label out of France. Sky, Daryl, Jan, and Rick, the Seeds, will mount the great white stallion and go forth into the land of darkness and look for the switch to make it light. This is the classic. No collection of lounge music or exotica or tiki bar music is complete without Exotica by Martin Denny. And this is an original mono pressing of it on the Green Liberty label, recorded in 1957. And here's the thing. Here's the stereo version of Martin Denny Exotica on this label. Same songs, but entirely different recording. He went back in the studio in 1959 and re-recorded this album for stereo, because the original was only done in mono. And there's different people in the band, like Julius Vector on Vibes instead of Arthur Lyman on Vibes in the original. But same catalog number, totally different performances. Who knew? Well, you know now because you watch this. Another one of my favorite bad old movies, Rat Fink a Boo Boo, which is actually kind of a parody of Batman and Robin. And Kogar was the gorilla that shows up halfway through the movie, just to make chaos and prevent the plot from making any sense. But yeah, Los Kogars. Head by the Monkees. And I have 3 different copies of Head by the Monkees that I will show you. Okay, this one this is the Rhino reissue from, let's see, I forget when, maybe sometime in the 90s. I know I should research this, but this is the first time that the Head soundtrack was reissued by Rhino, and it has the extended version of Porpoise Song as it appeared on the single and as it appeared on the Monkees picture disc with the little extra outro. Okay. The next copy of Head that I picked up was this Japanese copy that has the pictures of all 4 of them on the front instead of the Reflecto cover. And the picture on the back, like a different take from the same photo session and in color. And I believe this was the Arista reissue, white label promo. I think somebody who understands the language can, I think that little red sticker there means it's a promotional copy. But yeah, this is a Japanese copy. And last but not least, this is my original copy with other albums you can buy, like the Lewis and Clark Expedition, and the Flying Nun soundtrack, and the Casino Royale. And guess who's coming to dinner? Nazi Dreadlock. Yeah. And there we go. OG Monkey's Head, U.S. Press. Oh, damn it. Okay. Prospectus 69 by the Corporate Body. And this cover is just ridiculous. This is almost hypnosis with how surreal it is. They're all being strangulated by stock market tape, looking really serious. But yeah, Sunshine Grove is a really catchy song. Again, this is like white boy soul through a Mike Curb movie soundtrack filter. Produced by Mike Post, who did music for all the cop shows, every single one of them. But yeah, this is another one that every copy of this I've ever seen has been on this promo label. So who knows if anybody even bought it.
This is KYA San Francisco. 12345. Sparta Electronic Corporation is one of the worst electronic companies in the United States, famous throughout the land for the wonderfulness of their machinery and the efficiency of their place and all that stuff. This is KYA San Francisco.
All of you, thank you. Everybody who's been commenting and watching and giving me interesting information and just kind of giving me a high five. I really appreciate that I can just sit here and rattle off and talk about stuff that's, my little takes on the music and records and stuff. And, there's people who believe me or people who want to, have a discussion. That means I'm not just hallucinating, that I'm really seeing it like this. Alright, that's enough shit for a video. Time to go home.